Will Ospreay versus Big Van Vader. This is a match that blows my mind due to the thought of it even happening at all. Hell, I had no idea it even happened until somebody mentioned this in the comments of my video covering AJ Styles and CZW. This match seems like the definition of a fever dream if we're just talking about the concept by itself. But when you include the build-up to it, it makes for one of the most interesting moments in not just independent wrestling, but all of professional wrestling as a whole. And that is what we'll be discussing in today's video. This was a part of a poll in my community tab to decide my next video, and it won the poll decisively. So if you would like a chance to influence my next video, be sure to keep an eye out for the next poll. If you do enjoy this video and you want to see more videos about all the random and cool stuff that comes from professional wrestling, be sure to leave a like on this video and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. With that being said, let's get right into it. Before we get into the program itself, I want to briefly familiarize you with both wrestlers just in case you somehow aren't already.
This is my moment now, so you're either going to pass this torch or I am going to fucking take it from you.
Meet Will Ospreay. Objectively, I consider Ospreay to be one of the best pro wrestlers on the planet right now. Very athletic, has a very deep moveset, and has evolved so much as a storyteller in ring and on the mic in such a quick amount of time. Before he was who he is today, however, he was an insanely athletic performer and really not much else. Ospreay at this time was one of the most polarizing wrestlers in the industry due to his style and being criticized by some for having his matches resemble that of a gymnastics routine. Their words, not mine. During this period of time, he wrestled a match with a wrestler who goes by the name of Ricochet, a little underground guy, you probably never heard of him, in a match for New Japan Pro Wrestling's Best of the Super Juniors tournament that received endless amounts of praise and criticism alike throughout the industry due to its insanely fast-paced and acrobatic style. And speaking of that criticism,
tell me what time it is!
No, it's actually about 15 minutes away from the pay-per-view.
meet Big Van Vader. If you aren't really familiar with Vader, he is commonly recognized as one of the greatest big men in the history of pro wrestling. His work throughout New Japan and WCW during the late 80s to early 90s is highly regarded as some of the best work any wrestler has ever done in ring. With his physical size and the moves he was able to pull off, as well as his overall presentation, in so many words, he was insane. Some people will remember his WWF run as somewhat underwhelming, and while he did not have the same quality of matches that he would have against guys like Keiji Muto, Ric Flair, Kenta Kobashi, Antonio Inoki, etc., he would have great matches there too against guys like Shawn Michaels and Owen Hart. From 2003 onwards, he significantly slowed down his in-ring career as he was getting older, wrestling around 10 matches a year and taking a 3-year break from 2007 to 2009. Despite this, he wouldn't stay away and seemingly kept a close eye around the industry, as you will see momentarily. Following the aforementioned Ospreay vs. Ricochet match, Vader would share his opinions of the match on Twitter, stating that it didn't tell any stories and that you can get two gymnasts in the ring and do the exact same thing, and it essentially wasn't actual wrestling. Ricochet would reply to this by saying,
when he was like, it's a shame that this is what wrestling has become. It's like, what has it become? Like, it can be anything you want it to be. If that's not what you like, then that's fine. And I think that's pretty much what I said. And then people were like, you need to show Vader some respect. I'm like, I didn't say anything bad about Vader. I think Vader's awesome.
And in Ospreay's case, it would be a lot less courteous. Following Vader's comments, Ospreay would do some Vader bombs in some of his New Japan matches, despite the big man. Vader would indeed notice, and the two would throw jabs back and forth on Twitter in the months following. About a month after the Best of the Super Juniors match, Ospreay extended the invite for Vader to come to the UK and have a match with him, telling him to either put up or shut up. The offer would be accepted, and the stage is set for possibly one of the most unexpected matches in the history of pro wrestling. The match took place for the Revolution Pro Wrestling promotion, or Rev Pro for short, on August 12, 2016, and emanated from York Hall in London, England. This match was Vader's first match in 11 months, and it was only his second match in England since 1997. My options for footage were kind of limited, so apologies in advance if the footage for this match looked subpar. With all of that out of the way, let's get into the match. Vader slowly makes his entrance and draws as much heat as possible from this UK crowd, with them chanting as he takes an Undertaker amount of time to complete his entrance. Ospreay is next to come out, and he took probably 10 seconds to walk out to the ring and take his jacket off while staring daggers into Vader. Both men meet face to face in the center of the ring, where Ospreay would turn his back on Vader, flip him off, and Vader did not appreciate that as he pushed Ospreay into the ropes and roughed him up a little bit. The ref tries to break it up, but Vader takes him down next. Vader then takes Ospreay and throws him over the top rope and down to the floor. Vader looks to the crowd and kind of gestures like, "This is your boy?" Vader makes his way to the outside and he continues the attack on Ospreay, but security would separate them before Ospreay got the chance. This gave Ospreay enough time to make his way to the entrance ramp and do a front flip dive onto Vader and the security team before flipping off Vader after landing. The crowd is going nuts for Ospreay. Ospreay goes to continue the attack, but Vader fights it off and throws Ospreay into the ring post. Vader brings Ospreay up to the entrance ramp where he delivers a chokeslam to Ospreay off of the stage. As the crew checks in on Ospreay, Vader embraces this hostile crowd as he makes his way back into the ring. Ospreay is not moving at all and it's looking more and more like the match is not going to happen. Ospreay is trying desperately to not have the match end like this as he's literally crawling to the ring. Ospreay is able to pull himself into the ring and up into the corner, and the bell finally rings as Vader immediately runs into the corner to squash Ospreay. Ospreay slowly makes his way back up to another corner as Vader would continue the attack. Vader whips Ospreay into the opposite corner and Ospreay collapses upon impact. Vader gets a staggering Ospreay with some weaker clotheslines before sending Ospreay into the ropes to deliver a more effective clothesline. Vader attempts another chokeslam, but Ospreay is able to counter and deliver a handspring enziguri off the ropes to knock the big man down for the first time in this match. Ospreay hits a phenomenal forearm to a kneeling Vader and attempts to pin to only get a 2 count. Ospreay signals for the Os cutter but miscalculates a little bit and Vader is able to catch him, throw him into the ropes, and turns Ospreay inside out with a clothesline. Vader goes for the pin and only gets a 2 count. Vader argues with the ref in the corner and this is where Ospreay hits Vader with a dropkick to the back and takes the ref out of the question. Ospreay hits Vader with a roundhouse kick, stomps him in the head once, and then Ospreay makes his way to the top rope to continue the attack before hearing Pete Dunne's music. Ospreay gets off the top rope and waits for Dunne, only for Dunne to catch Ospreay from behind with a bitter end. Dunne and Vader shake hands, signifying that they struck some sort of deal beforehand as the crowd looks on disgustedly. Dunne grabs Ospreay's Cruiserweight Championship and waits for him to get up so he can whack him with it, but that's when Ricochet makes a surprise appearance to fight off Dunne. Vader looks to give Ricochet a chokeslam, but Ospreay makes a save and both men deliver kicks to the head of Vader as he goes down. Both men make their way to the top rope to deliver consecutive shooting star splashes and Ospreay goes for the pin. The referee comes to and counts the pin, but Ospreay only gets a 2 count. Dunne takes Ricochet out on the outside, and this leads to Ospreay taking out Dunne. Ospreay makes his way back, and Vader catches Ospreay with yet another chokeslam. Vader takes a couple of seconds to go for the pin, and this would give Ospreay enough time to kick out at 1. Vader hits yet another chokeslam on Ospreay, pins Ospreay, and gets a 3 count to end this match. The UK crowd is pissed as Dunne bows to a fallen Vader following the victory. This match wasn't really destined to be a barn burner as Vader was 61 years old compared to Ospreay at 23, but it was certainly a spectacle. The crowd was white hot during the entire thing. Ospreay sold his ass off for Vader, and considering the circumstances, this was a pretty cool match that made history and sent shockwaves throughout the industry. Tying in Ricochet to help Ospreay against the man who shot all over both of them was a nice touch, and bringing in Dunne to gain insane amounts of heat ahead of the inevitable match he and Ospreay would have was great. Not necessarily a 5-star classic, but it was a very good moment in the history of independent wrestling. Having the much younger star in Ospreay lose to a 61-year-old man who having one of his 3 matches in 2016 was certainly a choice, but it didn't end up hurting Ospreay in the long run, and there might have been a reason for this. Supposedly, this was proposed to be the first match of a trilogy between the two, but Ospreay wasn't exactly having much of it. He has gone on record to say that in the most respectful way possible, Vader was a bit difficult to work with physically and had somewhat of an abrasive attitude towards him. I wouldn't really blame anyone for not having this last longer than the 1 match. I think keeping it at this 1 match saved it from becoming very oversaturated in such a short period of time because there aren't really a ton of different styles of matches that these two could have in 2016 that would differentiate one from the other. There seemed to be no heat following the match as Vader would praise Ospreay on Twitter, and Ospreay has said multiple times that he has nothing but respect for Vader. But I'm pretty sure most of the build was a work to begin with, so this is where I'm going to cut it off so I don't work myself into a shoot or shoot myself into a work, brother. As mentioned, this did not affect Ospreay's career in the slightest as he would go on throughout the years to achieve much success in New Japan, winning nearly every title that they had to offer before moving on to AEW in 2024 where he is a 2-time and current reigning international champion. Vader would wrestle a handful of times following this match, with his last match taking place in April of 2017 in Japan. Before we take it home, RIP to Big Van Vader, who unfortunately passed away in June 18th, 2018 at the age of 63 following a bout with pneumonia. But yeah, that was the story of Will Ospreay versus Vader. What did you think? Feel free to let me know down in the comments what you thought about this video as I look for all feedback, positive or negative. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already so you do not miss out on any future videos. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace out.